It is snowing in Detroit, but that won't slow down the fired-up Central Michigan Chippewa fans. They'll take on Big Red, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, who are all revved up for their bowl week debut. And tonight, we've got two great running backs ready for overdrive in the Motor City.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of Capital One Bowl Week. It is the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl as the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers face the Central Michigan University Chippewas from Ford Field here in Detroit, Michigan. It is miserable outside. It is very nice inside. Welcome indoors with us. I'm Mark Neely, along with former NFL linebacker Ray Bentley. Also, Jamel Hill is here, and we'll hear from her shortly. Ray, change at the top for Western Kentucky. Willie Taggart leaves about 3 weeks ago, leaves the head coaching position, takes over at South Florida. 3 days later, Bobby Petrino is named as head coach, but he has not yet taken over on the field. That belongs to defensive coordinator Lance Guidry. He is the interim head coach tonight. With all that it's taken place, what's the mindset for the Western Kentucky players coming in?
Well, I think they're ready. You know, it's a confusing time for them, no doubt about it, but they're in a situation where Willie Taggart really made an imprint on this football team, and Lance Guidry, and when we talked to him, he talked about finishing the job. We talked to players, they talked about finishing what Coach Taggart started, and you know, a bunch of these seniors, they'll never even play for Bobby Petrino, so I don't think they're worried about that part of it yet. And Lance Guidry has led a team to a bowl victory 2 years ago with Miami of Ohio, so he's been there and done it before. He'll have his guys ready to go.
Yeah, he was the interim head coach 2 years ago. He's the interim head coach again here tonight. Now, on the field, how about this? We're going to see two teams that actually huddle, and each team has a very impressive power running back.
Both of them do. You're going to see old-style football here tonight. You've got Antonio Andrews for the Hilltoppers, a power back who has the breakaway speed. He goes fast, really fast, and he just will break one at some point during the game. And then for Central Michigan, Zerlon Tipton has been on fire for the last 6 games, 100 yards in each of those, a bunch of touchdowns, and he's the kind of runner who can bust it, but he finishes runs well and is very strong.
Ryan Radcliffe, Central Michigan quarterback, just 336 yards shy of 10,000 in his career. The kickoff straight ahead.
Last year, we were juniors. We were started off 0-4. You start off 0-4, fellas. Then we won 7 out of 8 games. Only loss was to LSU. At the time, was the #1 team in the country. So you won 7 out of 8 games to get bowl eligible. And you got your hearts cut out your damn chest by every bowl committee. Every damn one. But tonight, guess what, seniors? You stand on top of that hill. And we stand with you on top of that hill. Like a team of damn gladiators. That's what we are. We're a team of damn gladiators. You understand me? Coach Taggart said he wanted to build a bully at WKU. We are that bully tonight, and we're standing on top of our damn hill. We are that badass dude. As I said once before, let's go get our damn trophy.
An emotional interim head coach Lance Guidry referring to the fact that last year Western Kentucky was the only team bowl eligible to finish above 500 and not be invited to a bowl game. The only other team was USC, who were not bowl eligible. And we are set to go. Dan Enos and Central Michigan won the toss and have elected to receive.
Well, I don't know about you, Mark, but Coach Guidry got me a little excited up here.
A powerful speech from Lance Guidry.
Oh, I love that stuff.
That's Jesse Roy, sophomore out of Charlotte, North Carolina, to kick off for Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers wearing gray for the first time. And Central Michigan in the maroon uniforms with Jaleel Adai and Sailor LaValle back deep for Central Michigan. At a short kick, we are underway. LaValle able to scoop it up at the 9 and up to the 16 where he is tackled there. The third member of our broadcast crew, Detroit native Jamel Hill, down on the sidelines tonight. Jamel, Central Michigan will be missing a couple of key pieces in the receiving corps tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This has already been an eventful bowl trip for the Chippewas. On Sunday, Coach Dan Enos suspended 3 of his wide receivers, Titus Davis, Courtney Williams, and DeFarrell Davis. I asked him how this would impact the CMU's offense, considering that Davis and Williams are his number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. And he said this is a position they've been in before because Titus Davis hurt himself against Eastern Michigan a few weeks ago, and he only played 1 play in the game, which forced Cody Wilson and sophomore Andrew Floyd to step up, which they'll have to do tonight. Now, none of the suspended players are at today's game, but Titus Davis tweeted after the suspension, "Feels like the end of the world for me. I let everybody down." Back to you guys.
Thanks very much. And now Dan Enos, there's Cody Wilson, who's leading the team in catches with 64, but Davis second in catches at 43, and Courtney Williams was third in catches on the team. But right now, Central Michigan dealing with their starting fullback. That is Tyler Lombardo, who was playing on special teams on the opening kickoff, being helped off the field.
As you mentioned, starting fullback, and the Chippewas use the fullback quite a bit. And so that moves Adam Fenton into the starting lineup in place of Lombardo, and hopefully they can get him back squared away and back ready to play, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen here based on what I'm seeing.
Lombardo, a junior from Harrison Township, Michigan, injured on the game's first play. And Central Michigan starts at their own 17-yard line. And senior quarterback Ryan Radcliffe, a 3-year starter. You mentioned at the top that he is 336 passing yards away from reaching 10,000 in his career, and isn't too far away from 3,000 for this single season. Come out in the I formation. Shift the tight end Odekirk over to the left side. Fake the handoff to Tipton. First pass is completed. That is Caleb Southworth up to the 23-yard line. Actually, Adam Fenton, the new fullback, already making an immediate impact. Let's take a look at our impact players. Ray, on the Central Michigan side.
Yeah, and the first guy you have is Eric Fisher. He will be the left tackle tonight, and then Jaleel Adai will play in the defensive secondary. But Fisher's a guy we're going to keep an eye on tonight because he is a beast. He's a projected top 20 draft pick in this coming draft.
It's second down at 4. Tipton with his first carry straight ahead. Not much there. Defensive tackle Kenny Martin with the stop for Western Kentucky. Well, we mentioned the Central Michigan suspensions, and then we just saw the injury on the opening play to Lombardo. The key injury on the Western Kentucky side has to be Quinteris Smith, who tore an ACL a couple of games ago. Would have been interesting to see a Quinteris Smith-Eric Fisher matchup, but unfortunately that won't happen tonight, Ray.
Yeah, Quinteris Smith leading the country with 12.5 sacks, injured in week 11, and will not be able to play tonight. It's very unfortunate for the Hilltop.
3rd and 3. CMU converted 39% of their third downs this year, and Radcliffe to throw. Throws it over the middle and incomplete. Looking for the tight end Connor Odekirk, but a flag is out. Our officiating crew out of the ACC tonight, and referee David Epperly.
Defense, number 29, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, they get the strong safety, Keontae Young, for the defensive holding, and it's a first down for Central Michigan.
And Central Michigan is an old-school football team in terms of they use the run to set up the pass. So many teams nowadays work it the opposite way. They're a throwback in that regard.
Flory, the receiver, wide to the left, and Wilson wide to the right. Handoff Tipton. Again, that one's bottled up. Well, he cut it outside, was able to bounce off the pile, but still virtually no gain. Andrew Jackson and Jonathan Dowling of Western Kentucky trying to stop the Zerlon Tipton, who just kept those feet moving.
Yeah, he's a powerful back, and he will come out of the pile like that a few times. But a nice run blitz called by Western Kentucky, and they had that one sniffed out. They knew right where that was going, and they brought bodies to the hole.
So no gain, 2nd and 10. Play fake. Radcliffe under heat. Takes off. And will gain 3 or 4 yards around the 37-yard line. Xavier Boyd with the tackle.
And I mentioned how good Zerlon Tipton has been. Check it out in these last 6 games. 899 yards, 148 yards a game. Look at the touchdowns here at the bottom. That's an incredible number. And this Central Michigan offense has averaged over 30 points a game during that 6-game stretch.
And Tipton over 100 yards in all 6 of those games. So he carries that streak into this one. 3rd and 6. Sailor LaValle now in the backfield, and Radcliffe to throw on 3rd down under pressure again to the near side. That's caught by Flory. And it looks like he has the first down at the 45-yard line. Well, Andrew Flory, number 9 for Central Michigan, is going to have to be one of those to step up for CMU tonight, Ray, without Davis or Williams.
Yeah, and he was in this situation similarly against Eastern Michigan, and you see the flat is voided, and Flory's in there and makes the play. But in that game against Eastern, he had 9 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns when he was in for the injured Titus Davis. So Flory has shown he can do it. And there's a flag down. But watching him on film, he runs really nice routes.
After the play, personal foul, offense, number 83. The play resulted in a first down after administration of a 15-yard penalty. Central Michigan's ball, 1st and 10.
That's got to be a penalty on the defense.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to come back the other way. There we go.
Yeah, they marked it.
Now they're bringing it back now.
Well, Ben McCord, the tight end, number 83 for Central Michigan. Now they're going to mark off the penalty in the correct direction if it's against the offense.
Right, and because it was after the play, Chippewas will get the first down, and it'll be a 1st and 10. They just lose all that yardage.
So spotted back at the 30. And McCord to the sideline for CMU. Central Michigan 6-6, had to win their last 3 games to become bowl eligible. Kentucky, or Western Kentucky, started off so well, including a win over Kentucky early in the year. 7 wins on the season. Sailor LaValle, a gain of about a yard. Calvin Washington, the defensive end, with the tackle. Washington's seeing more playing time without Quintera Smith in there for Western Kentucky.
And right now, Western Kentucky is loading the box. They had 8 guys up and around the line of scrimmage, and they're going to try and stop the run. That's number 1. They're going to try and make Ryan Radcliffe beat them, and that's what they're doing here early on. They're loading the box, and they're challenging Central Michigan to throw the football on.
Radcliffe in the shotgun, the empty backfield on 2nd down and 9. Radcliffe across the middle and almost intercepted, incomplete at the 35-yard line. Keontae Young nearly with the pick there for Western Kentucky.
And Young should have had that interception because he saw the route. And one thing Radcliffe will do, watch him, see how he looks to his right the entire time. He stared at that receiver the entire time. He was looking at Deion Butler. And when you have a veteran safety like Keontae Young, the junior, he saw it and he jumped it and almost picked it off.
Central Michigan facing a 3rd down for the 3rd time already on this first possession of the football game.
They like the screen on this situation.
Radcliffe, time, throws deep across the middle, caught! Flory breaks free! Gets a block downfield and into the end zone. A 69-yard touchdown for Central Michigan. Andrew Flory's 3rd touchdown catch of the year.
What a nice throw by Ryan Radcliffe. And I'll tell you what, he stared it down again, but it didn't matter this time as he found Flory breaking on a post route. And another situation where Western Kentucky went for the ball, tried to make a play. Right here, you see trying to cut underneath. They thought the help was coming from the other side. It was once again Keontae Young working on him. Gets the late block, and Flory fills in admirably here for Titus Davis in his first drive. That's what they're looking for from him. Now there's a flag down. Coach Enos is going out to find out what that one's about.
This is pre-snap before the point after, not for the previous play.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 12 players on the field. That penalty is declined. Try for point.
The senior David Harmon for the point after attempt for Central Michigan. Out of the hole to Cody Wilson. 8-play drive. Leading up just over the first 4 minutes. Looked like we had some movement pre-snap again. And a flag again.
And they'll back it up 5, and Central will kick it again.
False start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
That was on Nick Beamish, one of the interior linemen. That throw by Radcliffe, when he has time, and he did, he can throw the ball down the field pretty good. He's got a nice arm.
21st touchdown pass of the year for Radcliffe. And it's turned into a 25-yard point after, may turn into a 30-yard point after. Another flag is out. Not the cleanest start to a football game.
False start. Offense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Try for point.
Well, it's getting a little more serious now after 2 5-yard penalties. So suddenly the point after is turned into a 30-yard attempt.
You see the disgust on Dan Enos' face. He's happy about the touchdown, but come on, fellas, let's get this extra point off.
Harmon 40 of 41 on PATs this year, and makes it a moot point.
No flags.
And knocks it through from 30. But a 69-yard touchdown throw to Andrew Flory has got the Chippewas off to the hot start in snowy Detroit. Nice and cozy here indoors at Ford Field. A Little Caesars Bowl, 7-0 Central Michigan, Western Kentucky. Get the football for the first time, and Andrews off the bounce from his own 3 with a 23-yard line. And another flag is out.
And I think we have an injured player as well down there around the 10-yard line. Hilltopper, slow to get up.
Looks like Tyree Robinson. Western Kentucky out of the Sun Belt Conference. Central Michigan out of the Mid-American Conference. So these teams meeting for the first time ever tonight. Been a bit of an ugly start with the flags, and each team now has had to deal with injury.
See if we can see what happened there. You see Robinson, he took on one of the wedge busters right there, and that looked like A.J. Westendorp, a tight end, who came down and blew him up pretty good. And that's why you see all the rule changes and things of that nature surrounding the kickoff. It's the most dangerous play of the game. I mean, you're talking about guys that have, you know, a good 40, 50, even 60-yard run at each other. You're going to get some big-time collisions, and that was one for sure. And Robinson still down.
Saw Lance Guidry, the defensive coordinator and the interim head coach for Western Kentucky. Bobby Petrino is not here tonight. We had hoped that he would be here, but his travel from Bowling Green, Kentucky became difficult, if not impossible, due to the weather. And we had hoped to have Bobby Petrino on with us at some point tonight, but that won't happen as a result of Bobby not making the trip up here to Detroit. Good to see Robinson up on his own. There is K'Wan Jakes, a 4-year starter, the senior from Florida. 21 touchdown passes this year to set a single season record. Watch the tight end 82. That's Doyle, who shifted to the right side. Bosch, the fullback, in motion. Here's a pitch. Andrews throws it back to the quarterback. Double pass. Jakes going deep. Wide open. Caught. Rico Brown streaking for the end zone and is tripped up at the 6-yard line by Lorenzo White. So right out of the gate, the Hilltoppers go to the gadget play, and it goes for 70 yards.
That's a perfect time to run a play like that in a bowl game. And you get, basically you get a lateral and then a throwback, and Rico Brown makes the catch on the end. Nice little razzle-dazzle here early on as Lorenzo White ended up running down Rico Brown to stop him at the 7.
Well, first and goal, Hilltoppers. Hand off, Andrews. Cuts back. Not much there, maybe a yard. Now, the previous play went for 70 yards.
There's Rico up there, and you're going to see a little toss play and then a throwback. Here's the toss. The key to this is Jakes, K'Wan Jakes has to get behind Andrews, so that's a lateral, so then he can legally throw another forward pass. And it was perfect, right on the money, and a great hustle play from Lorenzo White to prevent the touchdown.
Second down and goal. Jakes looks like he wants to run it and will tumble in to the end zone. Touchdown. Like he held on across the goal line. A 6-yard touchdown run for Jakes, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, and here's a guy who came into the game with a negative 57 total yards of rushing. Running is not his game, but yet they call his number a little quarterback draw. And he finds a gap up the middle of the Chippewa defense to get to the end zone.
So just a 3-play drive. 70 of the 77 coming on the pass play. And the extra point for Garrett Schwetman. 9:27 to go. It's already 7-7, Ray.
Amazing. Nice play by Western Kentucky to get it down there, and then they finish it off with a Jakes touchdown.
Spirit of Detroit on this snowy night in Michigan. Indoors at Ford Field. The Little Caesars Bowl tied at 7 with 9:27 to play in this first quarter.
It's a nice throng from Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where Western Kentucky University is. Made the trip up north here.
Touchdown run for Jakes. Just a 3-play drive. It took under a minute and a half, and the 70-yard catch by Rico Brown certainly was the big play on the first play from scrimmage tonight for Western Kentucky. Jesse Roy's kickoff with Jaleel Adai and Savali back deep. Savali scoops it up at the 10 and brought down at the 27-yard line. Well, the touchdown here, a lot of green for Jakes.
Yeah, see that linebacker get out of there? It was man-to-man coverage, and that creates a really nice hole there, a seam for Jakes to run through. So outstanding in terms of the anticipation by Western Kentucky and their play callers. And I say callers because Walt Wells is calling the running plays tonight, and Nick Sheridan the passing plays for Western Kentucky. And we'll get more into that arrangement as we go forward.
By the way, that 70-yard pass play for Jakes, the longest of this season for him and of his career. So noteworthy for K'Wan Jakes, who capped it off with his own touchdown run. A flag is down. Tipton running up the middle. Stopped by Xavier Boyd. And our referee tonight out of the ACC, David Epperly.
Offside. Defense. Number 91. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And Radcliffe now 250 yards shy of 10,000 in his career. Picked up 82 passing yards on that first drive of the game for Central Michigan.
Most of it coming on the touchdown pass to Andrew Flory.
So first down and 5. So we've already had 5 penalties whistled in this game.
Inverted wishbone set.
Play fake and in trouble in the backfield. Radcliffe. We'll get back up to the 32-yard line, basically back to the line of scrimmage. Jamarcus Allen was the first one that had an opportunity, though, to get him in the backfield for a loss.
Yeah, and you're just going to see the pressure come. And Radcliffe didn't even have a chance to set up, and it was on him. And the Chippewas are going to have to do a better job up front. And this is a pretty strong offensive line that Central Michigan has. They're going to have to do better in protecting Radcliffe.
From the I formation on second down and 5. Tipton spinning down at the 36-37 yard line, close to the first down marker. Andrew Jackson making the stop for Western Kentucky after a pickup of 4.
Andrew Jackson is an all Sun Belt Conference linebacker. Had 116 tackles this year, 17.5 for a loss. And he's a guy that is as stout as it gets up there in the middle. And in fact, they'll often send him not necessarily a blitz, but he'll be responsible for one of the interior gaps. He doesn't flow to the ball. He just fills into the line.
3rd and short. This time just a 3rd and 1. And Tipton has the first down and more, backs his way up near the 40-yard line. Ty Golden, Jonathan Dowling, the free safety, combining on the tackle. Pretty good block, though, by the fullback, Adam Fenton, to help produce that first down.
Yeah, that's just power football right there. A little weak side ISO, and a nice job by Fenton, and then the extra effort from Tipton. And you'll see him at the end of runs just squirm and twist and fight. I mean, he strains for every inch.
First down, Central Michigan from their own 40. They send McCord, the tight end, in motion. Radcliffe being pursued, dumps it off, screen pass. Tipton avoids one tackler, then loses the football, but is fortunate to have a teammate right there in the vicinity, Jesse Kroll, to cover it up.
I mentioned earlier that the Chippewas are a nice big draw team, a screen team. And watch him at the end here, though. You see how that ball is up there? You want to hold it high and tight into your body. And he didn't have it up there. And when he did try to secure it, it just wasn't happening. And Jonathan Dowling knocked it out.
Well, the run and fumble picked up 16. First down, Central Michigan into Western Kentucky territory at the 44-yard line. Quick strike low, but scooped up by Wilson. But he doesn't have much room to maneuver. A flag comes out late, though. Brett Harrington, the quarterback, wrapped him up.
Must have got the face mask. And when you don't make a good throw on those quick screens, it's twice as hard to gain any yardage. And you saw Cody Wilson struggling there because he wasn't able to make the catch smoothly and transition into a runner. But Harrington looks like he bailed him out with that face mask, but they're talking about
personal
it right
foul,
now.
Face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
All right, that's how you make a good play turn bad. And you see he's got a hold of the helmet, and you can't. That's a face mask also. When you grab around the back of the helmet, that's the same as grabbing the face mask. You can't get your fingers underneath the back of the helmet like that, and that's a good call by the official on Harrington.
Don't see that very often, though, but using any portion of the helmet to bring down a player is the penalty.
Yeah, and the key being he hooked his fingers underneath there.
Western Kentucky's been penalized 30 yards already in this game. We have just under 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. Radcliffe, play fake. Going to go towards the end zone. Touchdown, Andrew Flory again. He beat Brett Harrington on the coverage. This is a 29-yard touchdown. Second of the game already for redshirt freshman Andrew Flory.
And Central Michigan loves to throw the ball on first down, even though they're a running team. And they fooled Brett Harrington. He was man-to-man over there on Andrew Flory. And Flory runs some nice routes. And that was another excellent throw from Ryan Radcliffe, who is heating it up down the field here early on.
David Harmon with the point after. No flags.
How about that? Well, right now, Andrew Flory is the story here at the Little Caesars Bowl. Another touchdown for the redshirt freshman, and Central goes up 7.
Mark and Ray, starting fullback Tyler Lombardo, who injured himself on the opening kickoff, is now out for the game with an apparent left knee injury. Back to you guys.
Smell, thanks. Tough break there for the junior from Harrison Township, Michigan. Doesn't want to take the pads off.
No, he's going to hang in there. He's tell you what, tough, hard-nosed kid. You have to be to play fullback, and now it'll be up to Adam Fenton to fill in that responsibility. As you just heard, Lombardo out for this one.
There's the kick from David Harmon. Vince Williams back deep along with Andrews. He's such a weapon on special teams. He's unable to make it to the 20, however. Well, the Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio is on ESPN New Year's Day. Running back Monte Ball leads the Wisconsin Badgers against the vaunted defense of the number 6 Stanford Cardinal. We have the granddaddy of them all. Coverage begins at 4:30. New Year's Day on ESPN, also live on the Watch ESPN app. Stanford, their offense, Willie Taggart was a running back coach at Stanford under Coach Harbaugh there. Toby Gerhart won the Doak Walker Award in 2009. And Taggart's brought a lot of that offense to Western Kentucky when he was here.
Yeah, this is that offense. This is the same thing you see Stanford run, and the 49ers for that matter.
Andrews wrapped up. Maybe he gets a yard up to the 20, and pushing there with, that's Mitchell Henry, the tight end. Number 80. And Avery Cunningham, number 36 for Central Michigan, the free safety, who were tangled up a little bit away from the play.
Central Michigan has really improved over the course of this season in the interior line on the defense. And I'm talking about Latarius Walton, number 58, number 52, Jabari Dean, who's a true freshman up there. And then Lewis Palmer gets in there, Matt Losinecki. They have become very good right up in here, and that allows their linebackers to run and make plays.
Nick Bosch is the fullback in that offset eye. Andrews again, not much room there. He gets maybe a yard before he stood up by Justin Cherokee, who's the leading tackler for Central Michigan this year.
And that was a perfect example of it right there, because Cherokee was unblocked. The defensive line took people out of the way. Cherokee steps up, fills the hole, makes the hit at the line, drives his man back. This will be a fun defensive front four to play in front of.
3rd down and 8. One name we haven't mentioned really for Western Kentucky yet, and this game is not all that old, Ray, is tight end Jack Doyle.
Yeah, Doyle is a big receiving threat.
Jakes incomplete at the 32-yard line, intended for Willie McNeil.
And it was actually Doyle who makes this thing open, and McNeil's just not able to make the catch. But watch the linebacker flow with Doyle right there. You see there over here, creates that seam right underneath, and McNeil's got to get that ball. He's got to make that catch, even though Jakes was a little bit behind him with it. Excuse me, Martin. That's what that tight end can do for you.
Would have been enough for the first down had he hung on. So we have our first punt of the game. Hendricks Brakefield, averaging 41 yards per punt this year. To go from his own 10. Cody Wilson has to retreat on this good punt. It's going to take a Western Kentucky bounce all the way inside the 15. Make that inside the 10.
It's still rolling.
It hits the 5-yard line.
Somebody must have opened the door here at Ford Field. Caught a breeze.
That's a 74-yard punt for Hendricks Brakefield. Central Michigan with the touchdown lead. Be backed up on their own 5-yard line with 3:50 to play in this first quarter. Brakefield getting some pats on the back. Radcliffe now 210 yards away from 10,000 in his career.
Countdown is on, and sure Coach Enos will call some pass plays, as Dan Enos, the head coach, does call the offensive plays for the Chippewas.
Hand it off to Tipton. Can't really turn that left corner. Will move the pile for about a yard, yard and a half. Xavier's Boyd, one of the first to meet Tipton, the 6'1", 220-pound junior from here in Detroit, Parkway Christian High School.
And they ran that one right behind the big left tackle, Eric Fisher. And, you know, a lot of times, interestingly enough, they'll run to the right side to run behind their left tackle Fisher, because they run the zone play and they cut it back so much. And they'll also choose to run right behind him at times as well.
Second down and 9. Play fake. Radcliffe. That's deflected and drops incomplete. That wounded duck was hanging there for quite a while. Calvin Washington got a hand up to tip this pass attempt from Radcliffe.
And Gavin Rocker is the guy who had the chance for the interception. There's the batted ball right there by Washington. It's up in the air, and Rocker's looking around. He almost landed on top of him. It's like, oh, man, got to find that football.
Yeah, Washington got that. That ball was just inches out of the hand of Radcliffe, it appeared.
Washington's playing really well right now, bringing the heat.
But Central Michigan's been very effective on third down tonight. 3 of 3 converted. From his own end zone, Radcliffe. Too high, incomplete at the 20, going for Cody Wilson.
And that's what you get from Ryan Radcliffe. Sometimes he's really good, and sometimes he's just really average, and just will make an errant throw that you wonder, how do you miss that? Because it's right there. He's wide open, and he throw it 4 or 5 guys over 4 or 5 yards over the guy's head, and that's been the kind of problem with Ryan Radcliffe throughout his career at Central Michigan. You see flashes of brilliance, which we've seen here already in the first quarter, and then you see a throw like that, and you wonder what's going on.
There's Antonio Andrews back deep. He returned to punt 70 yards for a touchdown in week 1 this year against Austin Peay. He's standing right near midfield. The Richie Hogan punt. That's a great punt. That lands at the 29 and is going to roll all the way inside the 15, where it's scooped up by Andrews, who immediately gets tripped up. Wow. The punters shining on each team. Ricardo Singh with the tackle there at the end on special teams. But that's an 82-yard punt with a 3-yard return.
That's a Little Caesar Bowl record right there. We've seen a couple of back-to-back world-class punts. Hogan's previous long this year was 74. Did you say that one went 83?
82 yards, which Hendricks Brakefield for Western Kentucky had a 74-yarder just prior to that. So it was Hogan saying to Brakefield, I see your 74 and up you to an 82 on first down. Jakes rolling out, is just going to throw it onto the sideline. Western Kentucky playing in a bowl game for the first time as a member of the Football Bowl subdivision, but that does not take into account their entire history. The Refrigerator Bowl, Evansville, Indiana, December 7th of '52. They defeated Arkansas State 34-19, and then about 11 years later, Tangerine Bowl in Orlando. They beat the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was a little down that year. Even though they made it to the Tangerine Bowl, they got shut out by Western Kentucky. What happened to the Coast Guard football program?
Esoteric bowls right there. Your Refrigerator Bowl and your Tangerine Bowl.
And there's Jack Doyle with his first catch of the game. He's up to the 22. That's his team leading 48th reception of the year. It's a good tight end right here. It looks like he'll be playing in the NFL next year.
Yeah, I think he will, because he has the ability to make plays, and he just has that knack. He's a football player. He's able to get separation, and he also has a great ability at the end to go up and get the football. You'll see him run down the seam, and Jakes take a shot to him here before the night's over.
That gained 9. It's a 3rd and short, 3rd and 2. They tighten up the formation with Andrews the back. Send the tight end Henry in motion. Give it to Andrews. No shock there. Straight up the middle for a first down up near the 30 before being stopped by Jared Chapman. Let's take a look at our impact players for this game, Ray, from the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
Well, one way we already talked about is Jack Doyle there on the left. Outstanding as far as his abilities to catch the football, the leading receiver on this team. And then we've also mentioned the linebacker, the middle linebacker, Andrew Jackson. Both these guys are all Sun Belt Conference first-team performers and big parts of this Hilltopper outfit.
Doyle shifts to the left side of this formation. From the eye with Nick Bosch, the fullback. Andrews. Gain of 1, wrapped up by Shamari Benton, strong side linebacker.
Shamari Benton is a very good run defender inside. He comes straight downhill And you need that when they run ISO at you, which is exactly what Western Kentucky just did. Send the fullback at the linebacker, and let's see who ducks first. And that time nobody ducked, but Justin Cherokee took out the fullback, and Benton comes over the top to finish the play.
Bo Brand and Rico Brown are the receivers at the top of your screen, and again Doyle in motion. Give to Andrews, finds a little crease, weaves his way to the 34. Picks up around 4. Halted there by Anthony Young, the cornerback.
Western Kentucky will continue to pound the football inside with Antonio Andrews. And I watched him on tape leading up to this game, and they'll hammer him, and they'll be picking up 2, 3, none maybe you get 1, and the next thing you know, he's out the gate, out the back end for a huge run, and they'll keep handing it to him throughout the night.
1 and 2 on 3rd down tonight, a 3rd and 5. Jakes deflected, incomplete. Shamari Benton was one Chippewa that had a chance to pick that off after it went off the hands of Willie McNeil.
And McNeil drops a pass here. You're going to see him go underneath. Benton jumps him. Look at that ball right there. It actually is on the shoulder of Shamari Benton. He gets one hand on it. Wasn't able to get it up in the air high enough for someone else to come get it. But another pass slightly behind the receiver. But I got to think McNeil feels he should catch those balls.
Brakefield, whose last punt went for 74 yards. Pretty good charge into that one, but the fair catch from Cody Wilson at the 19. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter.
It's a mess outside, but inside Ford Field, 14-7 Central Michigan at the end of 1. A couple of touchdown catches for CMU as we begin the second quarter. They lead Western Kentucky by a touchdown. And just prior to kickoff tonight, specialist Blake Johnson delivered the game ball. Blake Johnson, part of the Wounded Warrior program. Blake Jackson, that is, part of the Wounded Warrior program. You can go to woundedwarriorproject.org to learn more on this hero, Blake Jackson. Nice to have him here at the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl in Detroit.
Yeah, pretty impressive. The Wounded Warrior Project, a local high school was involved with that, and if you're looking for a good cause, that's something that you can really get into, and you can see and feel the good that you do.
Yeah, the reception by Jesse Kroll.
Quick little slant route, and only the second catch of the year for Jesse Kroll. But as we mentioned at the top of the show, Central Michigan, without their 2 of their top 3 receivers, Titus Davis and Courtney Williams, both suspended. And that's allowed Kroll to play, and also the hero so far for the Chippewas, Andrew Flory, with a couple of touchdown grabs so far here today.
Another big night for Flory. The Tipton run. The first down across the 30, stopped by Cole Tischer. Really, Flory had one really good game this year, Ray, and it wasn't all that long ago. It was November 10th at Eastern Michigan. He had 9 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdown catches, which were his only touchdown catches on the year coming into tonight.
Yeah, and in that game, Titus Davis got hurt very early. I think he only played 1 play in that game, and so they knew Flory could play, and now they're getting a chance to see it happening again.
Flory lines up in the slot there on the right side. And Radcliffe airs it out again, going in that direction, and a complete to the 48-yard line this time to Cody Wilson.
Nice throw by Ryan Radcliffe. Had the time. He sits back in the pocket. And when you give him time and let him set up, he can do some things. See the play action. There he is. Stares it down. Not the tightest spiral in the world, but it was accurate, effective. And Cody Wilson will grab it now. He's got some really good hands. 220 career catches coming into this ball game for Cody Wilson.
17-yard gain, first down. Just shy of midfield for Central Michigan, who scored those touchdowns to Flory on their first 2 possessions of the game. Hand off Tipton, eludes one tackler, bumped down near another first down. Gains 9. Boyd and Keontae Young stopping up for Western Kentucky.
And they ran that one right behind Eric Fisher, and he does a great job on his block, actually, of picking up a safety. The man on him had slanted inside. He kept going, and because he took out that second wave, that allowed plenty of room for Zerlon Tipton to rattle the chains.
And 10 first downs for CMU already in this game. Marching again now at the 42-yard line of Western Kentucky. Flory in motion. Hands it off to Tipton. Finds a hole. 30, 25, 20, down to the 19-yard line. A run at 22 yards for Tipton. Caught by Dowling and Keontae Young.
Tipton does a nice job of seeing it. Watch, here's Fisher. He's going to pull around. That's going to have everybody else fly out there, and then the cutback right there inside. And once you get Zerlon Tipton into open field, he's a different kind of cat then. I mean, he's hard to bring down. He outsizes all of the guys in the secondary. He's as fast as them, and he's got a vicious stiff arm.
46 yards rushing tonight for Tipton. He was over 1,400 yards for the season. Right back to him. Tipton keeps moving up near the 15, but a flag down.
Flag was along the line of scrimmage, so it's either offsides or a alignment situation for the Chippewas.
Illegal shift on the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Let's check down to the side. Jamel?
I have to give some credit to CMU wide receivers coach Mose Risen, because he told me before the game that Andrew Flory was going to have a big game today. He said he's really matured. He said he spent a lot of time in the doghouse as a freshman, but it's just grown considerably. Maybe I'll ask Mose next what the Powerball numbers will be.
Yeah.
And if that last name sounds familiar, it's a good reason for that. First down at 15. Fakes the handoff to Tipton. A well-read, minimal gain, in fact, no gain for Connor Odekirk.
Mose Risen was, well, he's Andre Risen's brother, right? And he was the Central Michigan wide receivers coach back some 32 years ago when I was there.
Wow.
And he was serious about his business back then. And I tell you, if he has improved any from that time, he's one heck of a coach, because I remember him from back in the day, and he was a taskmaster who would get you to do what he wanted you to do one way or the other.
Radcliffe throws it out to Tipton, and it's hammered down.
That's
back
Jonathan.
at the 34, Jonathan Dowling, the free safety, blowing that play up for a loss of 8.
Jonathan Dowling is an all Sun Belt Conference performer, and he's going to come flying up from the outside. He sees it right away. He's going to avoid a block. He's up near the top. There he comes, right there. He gets by the fullback. That was Adam Fenton, who his job was to block him. Then got outside too fast, and Dowling closed and made a huge hit. Had 6 interceptions this year, did Dowling, along with 60 tackles. And that was a big hit for not that big of a guy, just a 198-pounder. He brought a full load there.
Radcliffe on 3rd and long, 3rd and 23, and incomplete. Throws it over the head of the fullback, Adam Fenton.
Nice defensive stand there by Western Kentucky, but Central Michigan kind of got away from what got him down there, and that was running the football. He tried to throw it out on the perimeter, and the speed of Western Kentucky took those things away. I think they're better off running straight at him, Mark.
Well, David Harmon, his long this year is 51 yards. That was against Ball State. Hit the upright and still went through.
Bank shot.
So a 50-yard field goal that time for David Harmon to make it a 10-point game.
I mean, I tell you, he could have made that from 60 yards. And the length on this kick right there and knocks it in, and Coach Guidry says, that's all right, boys. We'll be all right. It's 17-7 Central over Western Kentucky.
Tess, thanks very much. A 50-yard field goal for David Harmon has tied a Little Caesars Bowl record. Stephen Gostkowski of Memphis back in 2005 kicked the 50-yarder, so Harmon has equaled that with the help of the right upright. Harmon's kickoff. Williams and Andrews back deep, and that'll be a touchback, and Western Kentucky will begin at their own 25-yard line. Well, Bobby Petrino, the new head coach of Western Kentucky. Things change tomorrow as he completely takes over, but the history of Bobby Petrino at the University of Arkansas, involved in the motorcycle accident on April 1st, fired on April 10th. And then December 10th, just 3 days after Willie Taggart departed for South Florida, hired as the Western Kentucky head coach. A 4-year deal for Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, I guess he spent a lot of time trying to get it right with his family, and they, on their urging, he came back into the coaching profession.
Jake slings it out down the sideline. Andrews with a first down up near the 40. But several months back, Bobby Petrino visited with Joe Shad. You can see that interview online, but Bobby Petrino saying that if he played it over in his head a million times, how could he do this? And like you said, Ray, the thing that really sticks out is he needed to make this right by his family. I had a chance to speak with Bobby today by phone. We'd hoped to have Bobby here today in person in the booth, but due to the weather, he couldn't get out of Bowling Green. And he said just that. His family has blessed this move to Western Kentucky. They're excited for him as there's a catch for Doyle. Excited to have him back in the game, because that was my question. Hey, how are things going with the family? He said good, and he said there were other offers out there. We got together as a family, and the family said we believe Western Kentucky is the place to be. They're happy to be back in the state of Kentucky. Right. Of course, the time at University of Louisville, he said that played a part as well.
And it'll be interesting to follow him at Western Kentucky and see if this has changed him. Because by all accounts, he needed to do some soul searching, and apparently he's done that.
Here's Andrews straight ahead, 45-40 down the sideline, inside the 25, makes a cutback and is down inside the 15-yard line. I asked Bobby Petrino specifically about Andrews, and he said, gonna love to have him next year, and he said he'll probably catch more balls out of the backfield with my offense next year than he does under this current offense. But that's quite a run. It goes for 39.
Yeah, well, Andrews has 35 catches on the year, so he's no stranger to catching the football. My boy, he can run it now. Prior to this, 6 carries, 12 yards. Kind of how I described it. But all of a sudden, he's going to bust a big one, and there he went on that, and that's how this Western Kentucky football team has been able to generate offense throughout the season. They just keep handing it to Andrews.
Off the left side, up near the 10. Gain of about 4 yards. He came in 274 yards from breaking Barry Sanders' single season record for all-purpose yards. And that last run made a pretty decent dent in that.
And then he caught the pass prior to that for a first down. So he's getting yards all kinds of different ways.
Now with that run, 115 shy. Second down and 6. Western Kentucky scored on their first possession. Under 8 minutes to play till halftime. And they're down by 10. Henry in motion. More Antonio Andrews. Around the 6 for a gain of 4. Andrews 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. From Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Grew up on the Army base. Considered the Air Force Academy before deciding to go to Western Kentucky. A guy who has a military background in his family.
He actually was a quarterback in high school, and when he first came to Western Kentucky, was a quarterback. But he was one of those quarterbacks that didn't throw the ball very much. In high school, he ran it out of that, basically your wildcat formation, people want to call it. That's the kind of quarterback he was. And eventually they said, you're too good at running the football. We're just going to put you back there.
Play clock was at 1.
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, Western Kentucky uses their first timeouts of this first half. Wintertime here in Detroit. A little ice skating and snow falling. 6:56 left till halftime. And yeah, that's Big Red, the mascot for Western Kentucky. And you think he's simulating ice skating? You're onto something. We'll see more of Big Red.
One of the best mascots going. Nobody knows quite what it is, but it is Big Red.
Keyshawn Simpson now in the backfield for Western Kentucky as they come out of the timeout. Play fake. Jakes rolling out to the end zone. A one-handed grab, touchdown. Jack Doyle, the tight end. His 5th touchdown catch of the season.
And that's what I'm talking about with Jack Doyle's ability to make a play. He hung in there and gave Jakes a big target at the end. Somehow Central Michigan lost sight of him. I don't know how you do that with that guy, their leading receiver, and yet he bails Jakes out with a one-hand stab to get the touchdown for the Hilltoppers.
Garrett Schwentman for the point after. Out of the hold of Hendricks Brakefield. Makes it a 3-point game. Jack Doyle stuck that big paw up there and found the football.
Here you see Jakes rolling out to the right. Nothing to do. Going to throw it in the end zone. One-hand grab. And Western Kentucky gets back in this thing. They trail now by 3.
Capital One Bowl Week rolls on tomorrow with 3 games. The triple-header begins at 3. Bowling Green takes on number 24 San Jose State in the Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. Then at 6:30, Duke makes their first bowl appearance since 1994 against Big East co-champion Cincinnati in the Belk Bowl. And at 9:45, out to San Diego for the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl as Brett Hundley and number 17 UCLA face the Baylor Bears. Catch Capital One Bowl Week tomorrow, a triple-header. Also live on Watch ESPN. Western Kentucky drives 6 plays. And Andrews had 63 of those 75 yards.
Yeah, Andrews showed you what he could do lining up wide as a receiver and then pop that one long run.
Sophomore Jesse Roy to kick off for Western Kentucky. Sailor LaValle. Tim Phillips back deep for Central Michigan. Valley from just inside the 10. Stumbles forward across the 30 up near the 34. Pretty good starting field position for the Chippewas. Well, that last touchdown, I thought Jakes was just going to throw it out of bounds and they'd kick the field goal, but something happened late here.
There's Jakes right there, and there's the guy who's covering him. That's Jason Wilson. Excuse me, that's Doyle. Watch Wilson now. He's got him pretty good back there in the back of the end zone. He's got his man. He's locked up right here. But what you're going to see is the quarterback breaks the edge and he leaves him. And that's a cardinal rule in football. You can never leave your man alone like that when the quarterback's scrambling. That's called the plaster rule. You have to plaster to your guy until that quarterback gets across the line of scrimmage. And then and only then can you come up and be a run defender.
Zerlon Tipton picks up 3 on first down. Calvin Washington with the tackle. We've got 2 backs tonight, Ray, and you mentioned it. Who may go for 2 yards, 3 yards, 1 yard, and all of a sudden, bam. Yeah, 30, 40 yards.
Pop it out the other end on you before you know what hit you. And both of them are very similar in that they can get up to top speed very quickly. I say they get fast.
Well put.
Thank you.
Second down and 6. Radcliffe slings it out to Wilson, makes it cut, avoids 1 tackler, and has a first down up at the 45.
Nice little move by Cody Wilson, doubling back after making the catch. And that's what Wilson is really known for, his ability, not only the good hands, but his ability to run after the catch and make something happen when he gets the football. A little intensity from Coach Enos on the sideline, who has done a really nice job in turning this season around. for Central Michigan. At one point, 3-6 didn't look like much, and then they win their final 3 to get into this bowl game.
Radcliffe, quick throw, and he did catch it, but Wilson had the knee down.
And Radcliffe recognized the corner blitz and threw right behind it. Unfortunately, he threw a little bit low, unfortunately for Central Michigan, but the corner blitz comes.
Oh,
that thing bounced off the ground. But you saw the safety, Keontae Young, coming over to get the coverage.
Please reset the game clock to 5:25.
So that is an incomplete pass.
The play will start on the snap.
Yeah, they caught it down there on the field.
So it's a 2nd down and 10. Two receivers to the right. And out of the I formation. Radcliffe steps up, throws across the middle, and has his man complete at the 39-yard line. Cody Wilson, and a 1st down for the Chips. Central Michigan's previous head coaches include Brian Kelly, who was with the Chips 04 to 06, won the MAC championship in 06. Of course, now will play for the national championship this year as a head coach at Notre Dame. And he was followed by Butch Jones, who was Central Michigan head coach 07 to 09, won a couple of MAC titles with Cincinnati, and has recently departed to Tennessee.
It's a pretty good lineage of coaches there in the last half a decade or so at Central Michigan.
Take it off. This is the tight end, Connor Oderkirk. And he has a 1st down inside the 25-yard line. Gain of 15 for Oderkirk.
And this is just your old end around. He's just going to come around and take the handoff. Bam, you got a lead blocker out in front of him. That's big Andy Phillips knocking somebody out of the way, and get Oderkirk out in open space a little bit.
That goes as just his 2nd rushing attempt of the season.
I like this play calling from Dan Enos here today. He's really kept a nice mix going. He's making sure that Zerlon Tipton gets his carries, but he's also throwing the ball down the field when the opportunity presents itself.
Gives it to Tipton, trying to turn that left corner to the 21. Stopped by Andrew Jackson, the middle linebacker, for just a pickup of a couple.
Flag came in real late from the back judge.
After the play, personal foul, offense, number 65, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Now Darren Keaton, the right guard, called for the personal foul. And that's going to back Central Michigan all the way back to the 37-yard line.
Keaton, 6'3", 305-pound senior. One of the stalwarts on that right side of the offensive line with Repoves and Keaton, a couple of seniors, is pretty strong. I mean, this is a very good offensive line collectively. And then the best guy is Eric Fisher, 79.
On 2nd and 23, the pass batted down by Calvin Washington.
That's 2nd time tonight Washington has gotten close enough to Radcliffe to knock the ball pretty much before it even comes out of his hands.
Interim head coach for Western Kentucky, Lance Guidry, who was the interim head coach 2 years ago in a bowl game for Miami of Ohio and won that game.
He was part of a huge turnaround with Miami of Ohio that year. They were one of 3 teams that had double-digit losses and then came back to have double-digit wins the following season. And that final win to get them to 10-4 was the GoDaddy.com bowl win, coached by Lance Guidry.
A 30-23 underneath. And Wilson brought down at the 27. Needed to get to the 14 for a 1st down. Brought down by Cam Thomas.
Turf monster got Cody Wilson. He just tripped.
Well, David Harmon tied a Little Caesars Bowl record with a 50-yard field goal made his last attempt. This one will be off the left hash into the hold of Cody Wilson. in 46. And that one blocked. This can be returned. Looked like Xavier Boyd is the one who blocked it. And Central Michigan comes up empty.
And he shot through the middle, got the hand up, and knocked it down. Here he comes right through the gap, gets a hand on it, and they thwart a Central Michigan scoring opportunity.
Tess, thanks. We'll look forward to seeing you and Robert here shortly. We have just 2:53 left in this first half. Western Kentucky takes over, down 3. The Hilltoppers scored a touchdown on their previous possession. Jake stumps off the screen. Andrews lost the football, but bats it out of bounds. That could have been catastrophic for Western Kentucky.
The screen pass off to the weak side, and here's Andrews, and nice job of just ripping the football out by Avery Cunningham. Had the arms wrapped around, got his hand up in there, and yanked that thing out. Andrews has had some fumble problems in the course of this season.
Jakes looking for Andrews. Well, the previous possession for Western Kentucky resulted in a touchdown, a Buick drive cap, and it really began with the running way of Antonio Andrews.
Yeah, the run after the catch initially because he lined up wide, made that grab, and then here he rips off 39 yards. At that point, he had 6 carries for 12 yards. Then you get the touchdown at the end there. Doyles is able to shake his defender late, make the one-hand stab to pull Western Kentucky to within 3.
A Buick drive recap. Western Kentucky facing a 3rd and 10 here, though. Have not converted on longer than a 3rd and 8 tonight. Dumped off underneath, incomplete for Andrews.
They wanted the middle screen, and it looked like somebody reached in and got a hand on the football on their way to the quarterback. A little middle screen, and they do like to run that and dump the ball off to Andrews on 3rd and 10, 3rd and medium type things, and K'Wan Jakes knows he missed a little bit of an opportunity there. And they didn't use up very much time, and Central Michigan will get it back and see their 2-minute offense.
Central Michigan has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. He's had punts of 74 and 47 yards tonight, and Brakefield wins Wilson to his own 34, skirts by one tackler and steps out around the 40. Well, Capital One Bowl week continues Friday with 3 games. First at 2, Ohio takes on Louisiana Monroe in the Advocare V100 Independence Bowl from Shreveport. Then at 5:30, Rutgers faces Virginia Tech in the Russell Athletic Bowl, and at 9, Minnesota and Texas Tech square off in the Meineke Car Care Bowl of Texas. It's Capital One Bowl week Friday on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. Triple headers next couple of days.
I'm telling you, I got a nice little weekend, or end of the week, I should say, planned.
Central Michigan with a 3-point lead. Begin at their own 39 with all 3 timeouts and 2:17 left in the half. And give it to Tipton. Still on his feet up to midfield. First down run. Finally stopped by Keontae Young, but rambles for 11 yards.
Yeah, it looked like they pulled the big guy right here is Fisher, and watch him pull around and lead this thing, a little tackle trap. And he gets up in the hole and destroys a linebacker, keeps him totally out of there. He is a dominant football player. If you're interested in seeing how offensive line should be played, keep your eyes glued to number 79 because he is extremely good.
He should be a first-round pick in this year's NFL draft. Hand off again, Tipton going to the short side, skirts by 2 tacklers there, but not a 3rd at the 47 for a gain of 3. Eric Fisher, the left tackle, raised 6'8", 305 pounds.
You know, when he came to Central Michigan, he was 242 pounds, but he was 6'8", and they saw a guy that they could pack some weight on, maybe they get something special. They did a similar thing with Joe Staley, who now starts at left tackle for the 49ers and was a #1 pick.
Pass too high off the hands of Flory. He already has a couple of touchdown catches tonight.
And Mike Cummings, the offensive line coach for the Chippewas, got a lion's share of the credit from Dan Enos as far as the development of Eric Fisher. You know, they remarked that he's a kid that actually started the last few games when he was a true freshman. And so he didn't get a redshirt year to really develop. I mean, this is a fourth-year senior. And they're talking about, boy, if they'd had one more year with him, how dominant would he have been? Well, I tell you this, that kid's ready for the NFL right now. He don't need another year of seasoning.
CMU 3 of 6 on 3rd down tonight, and a 3rd and 6. Radcliffe a lot of time, but overthrows Flory again.
It's another one of those scratch your head Radcliffe passes that anybody who's followed Central Michigan football for the last 3-4 years knows what I'm talking about, because he'll throw strikes and he'll look like a world beater, and then he'll miss the simplest passes, and generally it's with an overthrow. And I'm not sure what it is about him that brings that out, but it's been a chronic problem throughout his career. And now he's gotten better with it, but it still comes out and bites him every once in a while.
Andrews back at his own 10 for Western Kentucky. Richie Hogan's only punt tonight went for 82 yards. And a Little Caesars Bowl record. Has to pin him in here. Fair caught at the 11 by Andrews. And Western Kentucky comes in 7-5. One of their early wins, week 3, was at Kentucky. Kentucky leading 31-24 after scoring on their first possession of OT. And Antonio Andrews, 2-point conversion. They didn't go for the PAT. They went for 2 and won it in overtime.
It's a Sun Belt Conference thing, I think. They like to just go win the game. We saw a similar play like that first play of the game here tonight.
Right.
Kind of a double pass deal, where this one was actually a double lateral and then the long pass.
Well, Western Kentucky, their first transition year to FBS was 2007. 2009 was their first year of being bowl eligible as a full-time FBS member. Playing in their first bowl game as an FBS member, and sacked back at the 6 is K'Wan Jakes.
That's Blake Serpa, who's playing a little
timeout.
Defensive
Central
end.
Michigan. Their first timeout. There'll be a 30-second timeout.
First sack of the night for either team, and with the 30-second timeout, we'll step aside for a half minute as well.
Please reset the game clock to 55.
Under a minute to play till halftime. 3-point lead for Central Michigan, and on that sack of Jakes, he did cough this ball up around the 5-yard line.
Yeah, you see Blake Serpa, he comes off the edge, nobody touches him. He knocks Jakes down, knocks the ball out of his hands, but fortunately for K'Wan Jakes, he landed right on top of the football.
Is that what you call a fortuitous bounce?
Yeah, if you have a 10-cent vocabulary.
Make it a quarter. Give it to Andrews straight ahead. Barrels his way forward up near the 15.
You're going to see the Chippewas use their timeouts to try and force this punt. Eventually.
Timeout, Central Michigan.
So we'll step aside again after another CMU timeout. Central Michigan, 1 timeout remaining, and a 3rd and 7 upcoming for Western Kentucky from just inside their own 15. And you mentioned, Ray, Central Michigan would like to force a punt, see if they can make something happen late here in this second quarter.
Jack Doyle is the tight end up at the top here. That's one of the favorite receivers for Jakes.
Trying to make the 21. They hand it off, though, and wrapped up immediately is Antonio Andrews by Cesar Rodriguez.
Timeout, Central Michigan. Their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Central Michigan will use their final timeout. And Western Kentucky, Willie Taggart is in his 3rd season as the head coach. Of course, was the quarterback for Western Kentucky in his playing days. Moved on to South Florida, and the connection there, Willie Taggart is from the Tampa area, so it's a bit of a situation of him returning to his home area. But a very successful 3 seasons. You know, a team that was 0-12 for some of these seniors on this Western Kentucky team 4 years ago.
Yeah, the year before Willie Taggart came in, that group was 0-12, and then in his first season, they were 2-10. But as we heard Lance Guidry talk about at the very top of the show, he wanted to make a king of the hill, a bully, if you will, out of the Hilltoppers, and he was on his way to doing it. You know, last year they were 7-5, did not get invited to a bowl game. This year at 7-5, they made it here to the Little Caesars Bowl, their very first bowl appearance in FBS.
Let's see if the Chips come after Brakefield, who's up 3 yards deep in his own end zone for this punt. And Wilson calling for the fair catch at his own 40. Jamel Hill's down on the sideline. Jamel, you had a chance to talk to Coach Taggart via the telephone today, correct?
Yeah, I did. And the main thing that Coach Taggart expressed was pride. He's very proud of how far this group has progressed. And as he said, as he's told me over the phone, he really is impressed with these seniors. He said they could have walked away from this program when they were 0-12 and even some tough years they experienced with him, but they chose not to. And he said as a WKU alum, he's proud of not only where the program is, but where it's going.
And Taggart played quarterback there 94 to 98, was a 4-year starter. No timeouts for Central Michigan. Off the hands of Tipton, incomplete.
And Coach Taggart actually had an earlier stint coaching with the Hilltoppers and then went to Stanford with Jim Harbaugh, and that's where he picked up this offense. Was there for 3 years and then came back to the Hilltoppers and really took a diamond in the rough type program that was making a transition from FCS to FBS and got things turned around the right way. I mean, he did an outstanding job. He left Bobby Petrino with a really solid football program.
Second down and 10. Dumped off again to Tipton. To the 48 of Western Kentucky. Again, no timeouts. So stop the clock to move the chains. 24 seconds remaining. And spiked by Radcliffe to stop the clock with 22 seconds to go in the half.
With the range that David Harmon has shown on that 50-yard field goal that he already made, which would have been good for, I would say, at least another 10 yards, they're not too far out of field goal range. However, the last time they tried that field goal, they got it blocked. And I know that's on the mind of Dan Enos as he's over there on the sidelines trying to figure out where he wants to get this ball to.
Radcliffe across the middle and a completed pass. He'll stop the clock for the first down. That's to Wilson at the 35. Gain of 17.
Need to just kill it again.
And no timeout, so Radcliffe with the quick spike to stop it with 14 seconds left. And well, now they're in that area.
Yeah, they can make a field goal from here. There's no question Harmon has the range. Question is, does Coach Enos want to take a shot deep down the field, try and maybe get himself 6 points here at the end of the half?
A 50-yarder he made, tied a Little Caesars Bowl record.
They do not have a timeout, so they have to get this clock stopped one way or another to get that field goal try.
Radcliffe lost the football. It's loose. Still loose. Radcliffe picks it up, and he's going to run with it. And time's going to run out. A very bizarre finish to the first half.
Yeah, that ball just got slapped out of his hands.
I think Jamarcus Allen knocked it out.
You're right. Number 43, Jamarcus Allen, is going to do a little move to the outside, come back inside. Right there, slaps the ball right out of the hands of Ryan Radcliffe, and then the mad scramble is on. Radcliffe ends up with it again and gets near the line of scrimmage, excuse me, but at the end of the play.
Jamel?
Coach, you had some missed opportunities there in the first half. That was just one. How do you better capitalize on them in the second half?
We just got to keep playing. As you mentioned, we had the ball down there on the red zone twice and only got 3 points out of those two because of some untimely penalties. We got to play smarter, and the emotions got to us there a little bit, and we got to be smarter.
You suspended 2 of your top wide receivers for this game, but Andrew Flory has stepped in capably. He has a couple of touchdowns. How do you continue to get him the ball going forward?
Well, him and Cody are both doing a nice job, and you know, that's what we expect out of Andrew Flory. That's why you recruit. You got guys, when it's their turn to step up, they got to step up and play.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Enos, Jamel, thanks very much. 3-point game. Here our halftime score at the Little Caesars Bowl, 17-14, Central Michigan. Now let's go to Joe Tessitore in the studio and our Reese's halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of Capital One Bowl Week. It's the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl, Western Kentucky and Central Michigan. We prepare to start the second half and a 3-point lead for the Chippewas. Happy holidays from inside Ford Field. Mark Neely along with Ray Bentley. Jamel Hill with us as well tonight. Ray, Central Michigan without 2 of their top 3 receivers, both suspended for violating team rules, but Andrew Flory stepped right up for CMU with a couple of quick TDs.
Yeah, he really did. Got it going early on. And Flory, as I talked about, runs excellent routes. And he ran a couple of beauties in these touchdowns that he caught. This one, just a crossing route, gets his hands on the ball, gets a late block there, and bam, 69 yards all the way to the house. Now this next one, little corner post move, totally shook the defender. That's his second touchdown. Both very nice throws. Now Western Kentucky, they came out firing. The first play of the ball game from scrimmage, they go with a nice double pass, and Rico Brown ends up with it. Doesn't quite get to the end zone, but they cap that one off with a quarterback draw by Kayshawn Jakes. And then Jack Doyle with the touchdown reception. That's the 14 for Western Kentucky. Central up by 3, but look at the time of possession here. 19 and change to 10 and change, and that's a huge stat because both these teams want to possess the football, and so far Central Michigan is winning in that side of the battle.
Western Kentucky will get the football to begin the second half as David Harmon to kick it off for Central Michigan. 17-14 CMU, first ever bowl game for Western Kentucky as a member of the Football Bowl subdivision. Antonio Andrews, Tyree Robinson back deep. Andrews will take a knee. Detroit native Jamel Hill back in her hometown. What's going on downstairs, Jamel?
Well, as our viewers saw at the beginning of the game, Western Kentucky coach Lance Guidry is a very fiery speaker. So I asked him, what did you tell your team at halftime? He said he told them adversity hits every team. It's just a matter of how you recover it that matters. He also said the team that sticks together will win this game. And a couple little injury notes here. Defensive end Cole Tischer is out for the game with an elbow injury. And also Andrew Jackson, who got hurt right before the end of the first half. He's got a twisted ankle, but he will return to play in this half.
Jamel, thanks. We were curious about Jackson because we saw him being helped off the field up the tunnel when the half ended on that strange last play of the first half. Andrews, the carry across the 30-yard line. It picks up 6. Mari Dean with the tackle for Central Michigan.
Andrews had 11 carries for 64 yards there in the first half. Busted up the one big one, the 39-yarder. They'll continue to pound him, and you will see that the offensive line from Western Kentucky start to wear down the Chippewa defense. That's what they count on, but they haven't had enough time in possession to do it to the extent that they would like to do it.
That's Doyle, who shifted to the right side of the formation. Here's the pitch. Andrews. Maybe a yard. Well read by Shamari Benton, strong side linebacker in that CMU defense.
Benton does a great job of staying behind the football. A lot of times you get a sweep or a toss type motion and linebackers just want to fly out of there. And not this guy, Shamari Benton. He knows how to keep leverage on the football and then close downhill and make a stop in the hole.
Second leading tackler this year for CMU. Brings up a 3rd down and 3 on this first possession of the second half. Jakes with some heat off the edge, throws it looking for the tight end. Mitchell Henry, an incomplete around midfield on the coverage. Anthony Young.
Central Michigan brought a blitz off the edge, and that, I think, hurried K'Wan Jakes more than he wanted to, and he was kind of stuck with that receiver because that's where his first read took him, and it was covered well, both over the top and underneath by Chippewa defenders. Jakes just had to throw it away, and they have to punt this opening possession here in the second half.
Yeah, 3 and out for him. Their 4th 3 and out of the football game. Hendricks Breakfield's punt. Fair catch for Wilson at the 20. 47-yard punt with no return, and Ryan Radcliffe back onto the field. He had 212 yards in that first half passing, so he's 124 yards shy of reaching 10,000 career passing yards. Again, only Dan Lefevre has thrown for more in Central Michigan history.
Yeah, but to me, the big thing for Radcliffe, 0 interceptions in the first half. And when he turns the ball over, the Chippewas have problems winning. When he doesn't turn it over, they're a pretty solid football team. They're in an unbalanced line right now.
Give it to Tipton. Cuts it back. And out of that, picks up 7 yards.
Oh, what a block by Eric Fisher. Again, he's just working on Calvin Washington, and he sticks on him the entire play. You see him right there on the edge. He's still battling them. Here they are, and watch him stay with it when the cutback comes. He gets right back on him and keeps on him till the end of the play. And that's a nice cut there by Tipton, keeping the thing alive.
Give it right back to him, and Tipton has the first down all the way up to the 38. We're being stopped by Xavier Boyd. Ramble goes for 9 yards. Relon Tipton. We're going to see a lot more of him in this second half.
Yeah, I think that's what you're going to see a lot of is Tipton carrying the football and then play action pass, in particular on first down. That's when Coach Enos likes to play it, because he knows the opponent's thinking run all the way. And look at all these guys in the box here for Western Kentucky. They got 8, 9 guys up in there right now.
He does hand it off, and with all those defenders in the box led by Jamarcus Allen, it's a loss of 4 yards.
Yeah, and that's where you want to make a check to a pass as you look at the last 6 games for Zerlon Tipton and the incredible numbers that he has. Almost 150 yards a game, 13 touchdowns. The Chippewas 4-2 over those 6 games, where Zerlon Tipton has been pretty much unstoppable.
16 carries, 73 yards. Longest rush of 22 so far in this one. Nice catch by Wilson. Pulls it down at the 45.
That's also a whale of a throw from Ryan Radcliffe. You know, that's an out route from the opposite hash, and he put it in right in the perfect spot that you could throw that football. You know, give Wilson some credit, but Radcliffe steps into this one. Bam, I mean, that's perfect. He got it over the outstretched arms of Arius Wright, but still with enough touch on it so that it dropped down to where Cody Wilson could bring it in.
7 catches for Wilson for 74 yards. A gain of 10 brings up a 3rd down and 3. Wilson in motion. Radcliffe going his way, and it should have been picked off and taken the other way by Jonathan Dowling.
We saw Dowling make a play earlier on a similar type deal, but he came up and made a big hit. This time he makes the cut, and he closes so fast, but he just dropped the football because this is 6 points. You can see right there in front of you, that's when Dowling took off. And I guess there's a reason he's playing in the secondary.
instead of being a wide receiver.
Yes.
You'd say.
Pretty much. Boy, that was 6 points. He knew it.
Richie Hogan punting. Andrews back at the 15 of Western Kentucky. And another nice punt, but it's going to land right near the goal line and go into the end zone for the touchback. 55-yard punt. So Western Kentucky will begin at their own 20. Western Kentucky playing with interim head coach Lance Guidry, who 2 years ago was the interim head coach for Miami of Ohio, the GoDaddy.com Bowl.
It's going to take 4 quarters. Not just the fourth quarter. All 4 quarters, fellas. We got to come out the gates. We got to come out the gates and run our race. Coach Taggart said he wanted to build a bully at WKU. We are that bully tonight, and we're standing on top of our damn hill. We are that badass dude. As I said once before, let's go get our damn trophy.
Trying to win their first ever bowl game. That's some motivation. Yeah, well, let's face it, this could be his last night on this staff.
Yeah, I think it is. And so there ain't no doubt about the heart of Lance Guidry.
Well, Western Kentucky takes over on their own 20, their first possession of the second half, trailing by 3. Then Doyle in motion. Hand off Andrews. Scoots forward to the 26. Jamel downstairs, and Jamel, Western Kentucky's defense taking some more hits.
Yes, they are. Starting cornerback Cam Thomas was carted off the field. His injury is undisclosed at this point, but it does not appear as if he'll return. He's the second starter missing because Cole Tischer is also out for this game with an elbow injury.
Jamel, thanks. So ranks thinning out on defense for Western Kentucky, but trying to keep it together here.
Andrew Jackson, their big linebacker, also with a ankle injury, so he's hobbled a little bit, but he's been out there in that first series.
And 2nd and 4, give to Andrews. Looks like he'll have the first down at the 31 before being brought down by Shamari Benton. And there's
Center.
Sean Conway slow to get
A
up.
little slow popping up off the turf.
3-year starter at center for Western Kentucky. Guy who took every snap last season.
And that's the guy that makes all the calls up front. And that's one you don't want to lose. Obviously, you don't want to lose anybody, but the guy who makes all the calls is one you don't want to lose.
So an official timeout with 10:01 to play in the third quarter. Great town, a fun little spot in downtown Detroit. This 2012 Little Caesars Bowl, 10:01 to play third quarter. 3-point lead for Central Michigan over Western Kentucky. And Sean Conway did come out of the game under his own power. Ray did have a little hitch in that giddy up.
Yeah, they're retaping the left ankle, and meanwhile Luke Stansfield, number 69, comes in to snap.
First down from their own 31-yard line. It's Willie McNeil split wide to the left, wide receiver. 40 catches this year. Does not have a catch yet in this football game. And a give on the run. Straight ahead, Antonio Andrews for no gain.
Shamari Benton makes the tackle, but he got a lot of help from those 2 interior guys that have done a nice job all night, Latarius Walton and Jabari Dean. Those guys are eating things up in the middle of that line, and they're also keeping people off the linebackers. Those defensive tackles are a linebacker's best friend. I can tell you from experience, those guys can take care of you and really make all the difference in the world.
2nd down and 10. Andrews trying to thread his way through and does so up across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Met there by Taylor Bradley and Jaleel Adai. Gain of 5.
I haven't mentioned Adai's name much, but he's also one of the top defenders for this Chippewa football team. But his game is really more in the pass. He plays the slot and the alley on defense against the quick screen game as well as anybody I've seen in the entire country. Hasn't had to do that tonight, But when that time comes, there ain't many better than Jaleel Addae at stopping the quick screen game.
Western Kentucky overall 2 of 7 on 3rd down tonight. In motion, the tight end Mitchell Henry, and the pass to the 41 is caught by the other tight end Jack Doyle for a first down.
And that time they put Jaleel Addae between a rock and a hard place as they run one tight end outside, and he kind of leaned toward that guy, and then they throw it back to the inside. So he was kind of caught between the two, ends up making the tackle, but wasn't able to break the pass up. Good scheme there for Western Kentucky.
You come in at offset I type formation, Ray. Give it right back. And a crease that time for Andrews up near midfield. Andrews chasing the Barry Sanders single season yards record, all-purpose yards.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Naaman needing 274. Still a sizable chunk.
He's got
away from that
a lot of ways. Kickoff returns, punt returns, receptions, as well as his prolific running of the football. Now here he goes out, motions up top.
And they give it to the fullback, Kadeem Jones. Carry for the junior out of Dundee, Florida. Andrews 120 yards shy of setting the single season record. Now, we must quantify this. Barry Sanders did play fewer games, and back at that time, the bowl games did not count on the stats.
Right. So in essence, Barry did it in 11 games, and this is the 13th for Antonio Andrews. Not to take anything away from what he's doing, but kind of shows you where Barry Sanders was.
Going deep. Willie McNeil incomplete. I was just mentioning a short time ago, McNeil second on the team in catches with 40. Does not have a catch tonight. And that time singled up with Taylor Bradley.
I like that they took the shot, though. This might loosen up the Central Michigan defense. Really nice deep ball from K'Wan Jakes. I mean, it's perfect right there. And the problem was, to me, is McNeil didn't get his hands on it. The ball hit him in the shoulder first, and that gave Taylor Bradley the chance to knock it away. I mean, if McNeil gets his hands up, I think he makes that catch. But instead, the ball got into him, hit him on the shoulder.
Nice throw by Jakes. Keeping it on the ground this time for Andrews. To the 40, leaving him about 4 yards shy of the first down after a gain of 6. Stopped by Jaleel Addae.
And they're running that power play off to the right side. And that means they pull big Louis Polanco, number 63, the left guard. And then they also lead a tight end. So you got two big guys slamming up into the hole. And Antonio Andrews has been taking advantage of those blocks here in this drive.
Andrews with that rush now right at 100 yards. 19 carries for Racino. Jakes across the middle. First, nope, dropped. Incomplete for the tight end Doyle. Had he hung on, would have been enough for the first down. Right now they're signaling catch, but I don't think he hung on to that.
And Dan Enos doesn't understand it either. He's coming after somebody. He wants an explanation because the ball was on the ground, and then they hurry up and snap it.
And Western doing, as you just said, Ray, trying to hurry up and snap.
The previous play is under review. The ruling on the field is catch and down.
So this will go to the replay official, John Armstrong. We'll have the verdict when we come back. Just a moment ago, our replay official, John Armstrong, says this was a completed pass. But let's take a look at it here, Ray.
Well, you see he's got the ball, he's down, and then late is when the ball pops out. The question is, was he going to the ground to make the catch? And I think the ruling was no, he wasn't. And so he was up, made the catch, then goes down. Ball comes out late after the play's done and complete. And therefore, the play stands. Personally, I don't agree with it. but we all have a job to do, and that's not mine.
And it does give Western Kentucky a first down. But now they have to figure out the clock, even though they would have stopped the clock to move the chains on the first down. And then they tried to run a quick play, and then that advanced the clock as well. Well, the Discover Orange Bowl is on ESPN New Year's night as Jordan Lynch and MAC champion number 15 Northern Illinois look to make a statement with their high-powered offense. And they'll face the ACC champion number 12 Florida State Seminoles.
The ball will be placed at the 34, first and 10.
Seminoles have one of the top-rated and stingiest defenses in the nation. The Discover Orange Bowl New Year's night at 8:30 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. You like Northern Illinois?
I think they're going to give Florida State more of a problem than most people do. Jordan Lynch, the quarterback for Northern Illinois, is an outstanding football player, and he's a handful for any defense.
Quick strike to the back. Andrews sidesteps up to the 29. Brought down by Shamari Benton.
It's been a real nice year for the Mid-American Conference as you see a list of their wins against BCS AQ automatic qualifier opponents, and right down that list there's some ranked teams in there, and a big year for the MAC. In fact, the MAC sent a record number of teams to bowl games this year, including the Central Michigan outfit.
Central Michigan beating Iowa back on September 22nd, 32-31 in Iowa City. 12th play of this drive. Not much there for Andrews. Met by Joe Kinville.
Haven't heard much from Joe Kinville today, and one of the co-captains on this Chippewa football team, and a leader on that defensive line.
As a younger brother, Mike, who also plays for Central Michigan as a tight end on offense.
Very intense football player is Joe Kinville.
Western Kentucky 4 of 9 on third down. We're under 4 minutes to play in this third quarter. A 3-point game.
A bunch of tight ends in there.
Henry, the tight end, in motion. And Antonio Andrews, like he has enough for the first down.
Andrews keeps pounding it away on that right side of his offensive line behind Adam Smith and Seth White. And you got those tight ends that come in there, the fullback, Kadeem Jones, doing a nice job lead blocking tonight.
8 touches on this drive for Andrews, is still 100 yards away from the Barry Sanders all-purpose single season mark.
They're going to ride that horse, no doubt about it.
Jakes to the fullback, Kadeem Jones, who's down inside the 5 at the 1.
They love the wheel route down in this area of the field, getting close to the red zone. They run it with the fullback. You see the little pump fake there. It draws the defenders up, and Kadeem Jones finds himself free along the sidelines. A nice throw from Jakes to get him there goal to goal now.
Jones had a breakout year last year as a sophomore with 8 touchdowns. He has 5 overall touchdowns this year.
Confusion on the personnel group.
He's right back in there.
They might run out of time on this. They might have to take a timeout if they don't hurry.
Play clock at 6. Watch up the formation. And there was some movement. They got the playoff in time, but the movement, the pre-snap whistle.
Yeah, and the indecision on the sideline.
False start. Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Seth White, the right tackle.
And as I was saying, the indecision on what to do, what personnel group to put in the game is what created the urgency, and then I think the offsides there with a false start by White. And I'm amazed they haven't had more issues with that, because Walt Wells is the offensive coordinator, the run game coordinator. So when they decide to run a running play, Wells will call it. And you're looking at Nick Sheridan. He's up in the booth. He's the pass game coordinator. You might remember him, Michigan fans, as a quarterback in the Rich Rodriguez era. He calls the pass plays. So there's a lot of communication going on.
Andrews Still going, lunging. Did not reach the goal line.
You know, to finish that up, when Willie Taggart was there, he's the one who called the plays. So they had to figure out how they're going to do this with Coach Taggart not around. And I understand the biggest problem would be, all right, one guy's going to call run, the other guy's going to call pass, but who's going to decide whether it's run or pass, right?
Yeah, making it work in the bowl game with a chance to take their first lead if they can punch it in. Over the top, lost the football, but the line judge says he got in.
I think he did. It ended up in Jaleel Adai's basket. I mean, it just came right to him. But I think that Andrews broke the plane before he lost control of the football. Actually, it's not Andrews. Excuse me. That's Kadeem Jones, the fullback. And here he goes. Let's see if he breaks the plane right there. Ooh, that's close because it looked like he was juggling it. You're going to have to take a look at that one.
And Western Kentucky trying to quickly get the point after done, but
the previous play is under review. The ruling on the field was that the runner broke the plane of the goal line before losing possession of the ball.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a huge call in this football game right here.
Western Kentucky could go from taking the lead to squandering an unbelievable opportunity.
And Central Michigan having the ball at the 20.
All you got to do is get the tip of the ball right past that line. And it looks to me like it's there.
Yeah, I agree with you. He got it over, but
he was joggling it maybe a little bit before that. If we could take it back a little farther. It looked to me like he had a
After
bit of a
review,
juggle.
the ruling on the field stands, touchdown.
It wasn't confirmed, but it stands, so there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn it. Boy, that was close.
Yeah, you need indisputable video evidence, and they felt they didn't have enough to overturn it. I thought it was a touchdown. I think he just broke the plane with the tip of the football before he started losing the possession.
Point after for Garrett Schwetman. Western Kentucky has the lead for the first time tonight after a 16-play drive capped off by the Jones touchdown run.
Boy, that's a close one. Here he goes over the top. Is he losing the ball? Man.
A matter of inches.
I'm glad I didn't have to make that decisive call.
Third rushing touchdown of the year for Jones, his 6th overall TD, and apparently he got it over by a hair with possession. So Western Kentucky trying to win a bowl game for the first time as a member of the Football Bowl subdivision. Bobby Petrino is their head coach. Of course, was the coach at the University of Louisville 03 to 06. Won 41 of 50 games there. Went to the Falcons in 07. Resigned December 11th. Arkansas 08 to 2011, and then fired there and hired at Western Kentucky December 10th.
Jobs have not ended well for Bobby Petrino. I mean, when he left Louisville, there was people with issues of that, and then he left the Falcons 13 games into a 16-game season, and the night after he told his guys, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm your coach. And you know, at some point he's got to clean that up, and hopefully what he went through was enough to make him change.
Sailor of the Valley.
That's what Western Kentucky is counting on, and they did their interviews, they did their due diligence, and they're confident with what they're getting. So to me, that's a good sign. That's a good step in the right direction. However, I'm one of those guys that's going to wait and see what happens with Bobby Petrino at Western Kentucky, and how long is he going to be there, and how is that thing going to end for him.
He's already hired Kevin Peoples. It's helped him out on the recruiting trail, and he told me earlier today on the phone that by early next week he should begin announcing his staff hirings.
And it doesn't appear that he'll retain any of the current Western Kentucky coaches, at least not to my knowledge at this point.
Radcliffe turned the wrong way, or one of not match up with Tipton there.
And somebody didn't get the right signal. Not sure who you put that one on, but I know that it was Radcliffe who ended up with the ball, running around saying what's going on. He was fortunate to get back, maybe gaining a yard on the play.
So we'll see how Central Michigan responds here now, down in this football game for the first time, and clock running inside a minute to go, third quarter.
Give Western Kentucky credit, because Central Michigan's dominated statistically, but all of a sudden the Hilltoppers are on top.
Lots of time for Radcliffe. And the catch at the 34, and then forward progress. Take him up to the 34.
Bring up a 3rd down and 5 here for the Chippewas.
Then McCord, the tight end. And that may take us to the end of the quarter here. I don't think they're going to break the huddle in time, and that's going to take us to the fourth quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter.
So the only points of the third quarter, the touchdown, the disputed touchdown, the touchdown down the left for Jones. Fourth quarter coming up from Detroit. It's from inside Ford Field in Detroit, where it's nice and cozy. It's been a mess, snowy outside, and we've got a good football game going here for the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl. 21-17, Western Kentucky as we begin the fourth quarter. Central Michigan, a 3rd and 5 from their own 35-yard line. Radcliffe's pass complete, breaking a tackle. Wilson, a first down. Pick up at 13.
That's a really nice throw by Ryan Radcliffe. Had enough heat on it to get it through the tight window that he's going for. You see just a little outside back to the inside move by Cody Wilson. Coverage was there. The window was tight. Radcliffe got it in, and Wilson made a move to move the chains. Big 3rd down pickup.
Tipton finds a crease. All the way to the 37-yard line of Western Kentucky before Jonathan Dowling stopped him, but a pickup of 15 yards.
And Central Michigan ran right into the blitz, which a lot of times is not a good thing, but they're able to get it right here. Watch this. This blitz is coming right at the point of attack. That's Darius Washington, but he gets washed a little bit, and then that's all that Zerlon Tipton needs is a little bit of move, a little bit of room, and then he finishes it pretty nice by running over Jonathan Dowling.
First down, Central Michigan. Tipton again inside the 30.
Good backs start to do their serious work in the fourth quarter. And Zerlon Tipton is a good back. Let's look at his previous play when he ran over Dowling. Oh, that feels good.
Boom.
Get a little excited about himself down there. Another unbalanced line for Central Michigan.
Right back to Tipton. Flag comes out. Tipton had enough for the first down, but we'll see about the flag.
I don't know if it was Darren Keaton locked up with Andrew Jackson. But that
Illegal formation on the offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, they went with the unbalanced line, but they didn't end up with enough guys on the line of scrimmage. Need 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. Somebody didn't get where they were supposed to get.
Wilson, the receiver, at the top of your screen, wide left. Valley is now at the back. And they give to Sailor LaValle. 32.
Valley has an interesting skill set, the true freshman. He's 5'9", 213 pounds, and they use him as a third down back. So that makes you think that he's good in space, and he's got some quickness and some speed and all that, and he does. But they also use him as a 4-minute back to pound it out at the end of games, and then they spell Zerlon Tipton with LaValle as well. So this kid can do just about anything they ask him to.
Valley out of Mason High School, Mason, Michigan.
Really come on at the end of this season.
3rd down and 4. Give it to LaValle. Turns the corner, has the first down and more. Inside the 10, bumped down around the 5. You were just saying about Saylor LaValle.
Well, he's got all the skills you want out of a running back, and here he breaks a couple of arm tackles. Because by all rights, they had him in the backfield. He's just going to take it and head around this end, and he's going to break a couple of tackles right there. Boom. Number 1, he gets by. He gets by a second guy. Then he's wide open, and then he shows you the speed and then the ability to finish a run down to the 5-yard line. Actually, I think maybe a little bit inside the 5 almost, but a heck of a run by LaValle, breaking a couple of tackles.
26-yard run for LaValle, his longest run of the year. His previous long had been 22 yards. 1st and goal, back to Tipton. Wrapped up by Andrew Jackson.
Jackson's going to tell him about it also. That's a lot of linebacker, Andrew Jackson, 6'1", 265-pounder. And his game is straight ahead, no fair dodging. And that's exactly what he got on that one. He's not a guy that'll go sideline to sideline necessarily, but anything between the tackles, he's going to come up and make an immediate hit. And you can tell that by the number, 17.5 tackles for loss on the year. That's because he comes downhill in a hurry.
Tipton trying to cut it outside. That was Jackson who had a chance at him at the ankles, but he scored it away. But then Xavier Boyd was able to finish him off.
When Western Kentucky is geared up to stop the run, which they are right here, it's a difficult proposition because they fly around to the football and they finish hard. And that was Xavier Boyd with the big hit at the end of this. I think Central Michigan would be much better served to spread it out. And then if you want to run the football, fine. But to just pack it in against that defense, I have a hard time moving them out of there.
Big play here, a 3rd and goal for the Chippewas. Radcliffe reaching for the end zone. He did not get in. A little short is Wilson. And time to make a decision on 4th and goal from inside the 1.
Dan Enos, I believe, is going to go for it. I think that's what he came here for, to win. And if you can't get a yard, then, you know, what are you doing? And they are. I think they're going to. If I'm them, I'm going to spread it out again. Give yourself an opportunity that way. I do not recommend bunching everybody up and trying to knock them off the ball. They have not been successful with this. Look for maybe a little play action here.
Chippewas 4-12 on 4th down this year. Give it to Tipton. Tumbling. Did he get in? Yes.
Well, give that left side of the offensive line for the Chippewas a lot of credit. They ran right behind their big guy, 6'8", 305-pound senior Eric Fisher. And I guess if you need a yard, that's where you go, behind the big guy, and that's where they went.
20th rushing touchdown for Tipton, his 21st overall TD. Yeah, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure.
Yeah, sounds like it. Looks like Lance Guidry wants them to take a look at it.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Their first charge timeout.
So Western Kentucky uses their first timeout with 9:21 to play.
Kentucky.
Well, in real time, we thought this was a touchdown, but looking at it again in slow motion, this touchdown may be coming off the board.
It should, because right there, it's behind these feet, but his elbow is clearly on the ground before the ball crosses the plane. So I don't think Zerlon Tipton got in the end zone.
And again, this is a 4th down play. Here's our referee.
After review, it was determined that the runner was down at the half-yard line. Therefore, Western Kentucky will have the ball 1st and 10. Western Kentucky is not charged with a timeout.
So Western Kentucky used the timeout, got the play looked at. The call has been reversed. Take the touchdown off the board. And it's a 21-17 game still in favor of Western Kentucky.
Great job by Lance Guidry recognizing that, seeing it, calling the timeout, and making them go look at it. That's excellent head coaching right there.
Now the only downside is they have the football just a couple feet, if that, over their own goal line.
Yeah, it's time for quarterback sneak here. That's dangerous.
Did he get out?
I don't think so.
Is that a safety? No signal.
Oh, it's close. Might have got over the end line. You got to get the whole ball past the end line in order for that thing to be out of the end zone and not a safety. And I don't know how Andrews did it at the end. That's why I said quarterback sneak. That's a dangerous deal to have your running back, and you see the ball, he did extend it over. But that's why you quarterback sneak from right here, because penetration's going to blow you up and maybe make you have a safety. I would sneak again here. Well, not again, but I would sneak.
Gives him a little breathing room there. Up to about the 2 or 3.
Now it puts him in a 3rd down and 9 situation. And you don't like to pass from your own end zone, but you don't really have much choice in this situation. The last thing you want to do is have your punter have to punt from where they're at. Normally a punter stands 14 yards behind the ball. They've only got 11 to the back of the end zone.
Ball's inside their own 2. 3rd and 9. They pitch, and tripped up at the 3 or 4 is Antonio Andrews. 4th down.
Ran a little crack sweep. They brought Mitchell Henry in motion, and Jaleel Addae and Justin Cherokee make the play. I thought Mitchell Henry was coming towards the line of scrimmage on his motion, which is illegal. They didn't call that one on him. Get it out to the 3-yard line. That still puts Brakefield in a difficult position to punt this football out of there.
And he's right at the back line of the end zone. Wilson standing at the 45, low snap. They got a piece of that. It's rolling around the 15, kick back around the 20.
That's a live football because Central Michigan touched it. If Western Kentucky gets on it, it's their ball.
May have been Jolin Briggs.
Fortunately for the Chippewas, Jaleel Addae ends up with the ball. Take a look at this right here. A low snap. He stops it with his feet. And then it's Briggs, Jolin Briggs, who gets the hand on it. And now this is a live football once the Chippewas touch it. And Jaleel Addae saves Central Michigan's bacon by falling on that football.
So Western Kentucky did have a chance to recover this, but it is recovered by Central Michigan. You got a crazy one going in Detroit. Back here inside Ford Field. It's 2012 Little Caesars Bowl. I tell you what, Ray.
That was crazy, man.
It's been nuts. And now here's Central Michigan taking over at the 26 of Western Kentucky with under 7 minutes to go.
I just want to clarify one thing. After that punt across the line of scrimmage, then if Western Kentucky gets on it, it's a dead ball right there, Central's ball. But Central touched it first, and that's what made it a free ball where either team could have possessed it.
Radcliffe looking to throw on 1st down, too high towards the sideline. There was some contact, and the flag is out. Guess he Kroll, the intended receiver.
And Thomas is going to get it for pass interference or holding, one of the two.
Pass interference on the defense, number 19. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
And Radcliffe threw that thing away. So they're fortunate in that regard, because ultimately it really wasn't a catchable football. He saw the tight coverage, threw it high, but maybe those earlier high passes that he's thrown, he got away with it that time because of that. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that he would let one sail like that.
First down, CMU at the 22 of Western Kentucky. Tipton tripped up. Capital One Bowl Week is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Watch ESPN.com and with the Watch ESPN app. Triple header tomorrow, triple header following day. We got a lot of bowl games to come.
Just getting hot and heavy with it.
Second down and 12.
The Chippewas have not targeted Andrew Flory in a long time.
A lot of time, Radcliffe going for Wilson, and a flag at the 5. Keontae Young on the coverage.
Job by Cody Wilson, and they just can't cover him. He's too slippery, and they've had to grab him. Young in that trail position behind Cody Wilson reached out and grabbed him.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Take a look at it. It's kind of a little bit below. Right there's the contact. And, you know, Cody Wilson kind of reminds you of a Wes Welker type slot receiver who just has that ability to just squirm away from guys and actually create a sense of panic where they feel like they got to grab the little guy to just maintain control on him.
Taylor of the Valley wrapped up. Barry Boyd.
Yeah, Barry Boyd did a nice job of avoiding the fullback Adam Fenton and then getting back on track to make the tackle.
Red zone's been an issue tonight for Central Michigan.
Couple of possessions. This will be their third one. Just 3 points they've been able to pull out of that. And the field goal earlier, and then the fumble on their last possession on a 4th down.
This is a 2nd and goal from the 11.
Like to throw the backs out of this set.
Going to the end zone. Touchdown, Wilson. And Central Michigan reclaims the lead with 5:11 to go.
Cody Wilson, the senior, picking up the slack for Titus Davis and Courtney Williams, both suspended for this game. Cody Wilson said, "I'll take care of that for you here at the end of the ball game." Just a nice little corner route, beats his man. The other, he beat the safety. The corner kind of sloughed off to try and get there late, but the throw had enough mustard on it. Excellent pass from Ryan Radcliffe, and the Chippewas respond.
Extra point for David Harmon out of the hold of Wilson. 24-21 Chippewas with 5:11 to go.
And Radcliffe just throws the corner out to perfection, splitting 2 defenders. Cody Wilson, a stick, a break, a cut, and a catch, and a touchdown, and the Chippewas retake the lead by 3 with 5:11.
Cody Wilson's touchdown catch has given Central Michigan a 3-point lead. 5:11 to go in this 2012 Little Caesars Bowl. Ray, the last couple of possessions had some crazy plays, and we have Radcliffe, who's nearing 10,000 career passing yards. He's 83 yards shy of that. 253 total, 3 touchdown passes now after the one to Wilson.
He's made some decent throws tonight. I don't know if he made any better than that one. I mean, he really split it through a really tight window between 2 defenders in a critical point in the ball game. That was good stuff from Ryan Radcliffe.
Andrews will not bring it out. I was talking about some of those wild plays that have come in the last couple of possessions, Rick.
Yeah, this fourth quarter. First, you have the touchdown that Kadeem Jones looked like he fumbled it into the end zone, but he was awarded the touchdown. And then they called this a touchdown, but they reviewed it, and the elbow was down. And then the block punt led to Central Michigan getting the football back, which led to this touchdown pass. Perfect strike from Ryan Radcliffe to Cody Wilson to give the Chippewas a 3-point lead with 5:11 to go here in the Little Caesars Bowl.
Well, let's see how Western Kentucky responds. Give to Andrews.
Jaleel Addae just came up from his secondary position, playing run the whole way, and met Andrews right at the line of scrimmage. And he's a good blitzer, is Jaleel Addae. I mean, he took off from way outside the corner area and still ends up on the pile.
No gain. Only gave him a yard. Second down at 9. Jakes across the middle to his tight end Doyle, but he's upended at the 29. And Jaleel Addae really stepping up defensively in this second half for Central Michigan.
He is, and they're moving him around. They're using him in different ways. Now here he's going to sit back on this backside, tight end cross. Here comes Addae with the open field tackle, just right across the thighs of Jack Doyle, upending him with no chance to gain any extra yards.
Western 5 of 11 on third down tonight. A big 3rd and 6. Jakes finds his guy McNeil with a lot of room across midfield. He lost the football. Recovered by Vasquez.
That's a huge play by Marcus Vasquez, because that ball was out and loose. And was that McNeil's first catch of the day?
I believe it is, yes.
He comes in on a slant route, gets it right in front of the linebacker, and here, watch this hit, bam, right there, shakes the ball loose. Big hit there from Anthony Young to knock this thing loose. Watch Young just get right on the football, bam, right there, splats it up in the air. Great reaction from Marcus Vasquez to come up with it.
First down at the 49. Central Michigan, they give it to the fullback, Nick Bosch. Man, we've had some strange plays in this fourth quarter.
This fourth quarter has been one for the ages. Both these teams fighting hard to get this bowl victory. It'd be the first in the history of Western Kentucky at the FBS level. Central Michigan, 2-5 all-time in bowl games.
Under 3 minutes to go. Each team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Doyle in motion. Play fake. Almost caught. There's 2 receivers in the vicinity there on that sideline. Addae was in that area as well.
K'Waun Jakes is just late throwing this football. Addae ends up tipping it, and so it hits Vasquez in the chest instead of the hands. But had K'Waun Jakes thrown the ball on time, he had Vasquez, no doubt about it. It just took him too long. And who else but Jaleel Addae in there to get a hand on things.
3rd and 8. Line to make is the 39. Jakes has a first down. Another catch for McNeil, is second on this drive, and he hangs on to it and is tackled at the 26. First down.
And the Chippewas played coverage. They rushed 3 and dropped 8. And because of the time that Jakes had, he's able to find a little window to get the ball through. You see, that wasn't his first option. He was looking to the other side of the field first and then came back to Willie McNeil and caught him in the seam behind the linebacker in front of the safety.
Clock running. We've slipped under 2 minutes to go. 3-point game.
Unbalanced line shift.
Jakes going for the tight end. Doyle incomplete at the goal line.
Doyle, that was a tackle eligible. They shifted the whole line over to the left to try and confuse Central Michigan in their coverage. But the Chippewas were right on it, and they had Lorenzo White all over Doyle. And it was very close to being a grab. Nice play at the end by Doyle. Excuse me, by White. That is just overthrown. Doyle wanted a penalty. That was as close as it gets, but great recovery by Lorenzo White.
Incompletion, stop the clock. 1:44 to go. Pitch. Andrews stays on his feet. Run out about the 22-23 yard line by Shamari Benton and Lorenzo White.
This is a crack sweep, and you're going to get one of the best crackback blocks. That borders on illegal almost, as it was number 93, Joe Kenville, who got cracked big time. And he'll remember that one for a while.
3rd and 5. As we've seen that they're in field goal range. And what we've seen from David Harmon tonight.
That's a false start on the center. That's still Luke Stansfield in there. Sean Conway was hurt earlier.
Snap infraction on the offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Stansfield didn't know if he lost control of the football. He started the snap kind of almost in slow motion and then lost control of it. So that's one that's going to be tough to overcome. Puts them in a very tenuous situation here. However, they are in field goal range to tie this thing up.
Back to a 3rd and 10. Jake's pass complete, shy of the 1st down. The 19 by McNeil.
And Lance Guidry's got to kick this football. You got to give your team a chance to win. It's 4th and 2. Minute 20 left. I'd let the clock run all the way down and then kick my field goal.
Try to take it to overtime?
Yes. You know what I'd actually do? I'd try to maybe draw Central Michigan off sides, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it. And I can't believe Central Michigan isn't using their own timeout to save themselves time to come back the other way. That just makes no sense.
Well, Jakes, let's see if they're going to try to draw them off.
He's going to call a timeout because they're out of time.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Dan Enos did not take a timeout to stop that clock and save time.
We'll step aside. 51 seconds left in regulation. Three-point game, 51 seconds left. Let's take a look at tonight's perfect play. Brought to you by Reese's. This is the first play run from scrimmage tonight. Gray by Western Kentucky.
Yeah, a little razzle-dazzle to start the game off. A pair of laterals. Back to Jakes. He throws it down the field. Rico Brown catches it. Looked like he was going to score, but Lorenzo White hustled to bring him down on Reese's. Perfect play of the game.
Well, here it is. 4th down.
I can't believe they're going for this.
They're passing up a chance for a game-tying field goal on 4th and 2.
And here's Doyle right up here, the tight end. That's their number 1 receiver.
Going towards the tight end, incomplete. He went for Doyle at the 5. And Western Kentucky turns it over on downs with 49 seconds left.
I appreciate Lance Guidry and what he's thinking there and going for it, trying to. I mean, this is a team that gambled earlier in the year and went for 2 in the first overtime to knock off Kentucky. They're a gambling group, but that one I don't agree with. It was close, and they went to their best player, Jack Doyle. Central Michigan was there with the coverage, forced Jakes to throw it too high. Anthony Young with the coverage on Jack Doyle. And now it's, for all intents and purposes, over.
Central Michigan
with only 2 timeouts for Western Kentucky. Central can just take a knee. I don't understand why they're handing it off and running.
He tipped it. He tackled it to 24.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Their second of the half, 30-second timeout.
And 1 timeout remaining for Western Kentucky. Coming up next, it's Sports Center with John Buccigross, Adnan Vert. LeBron leads the Heat. A 6th straight win. Cowboys have a plan to get physical with RG3, and Kirk Herbstreit on how the Irish can upset Alabama. All ahead on Sports Center.
Well, you got to give Western Kentucky credit coming down here, coming up here, I should say, and laying it all on the line. But weren't able to get it done on that critical 4th down at the end. Now Central has done the math and realizes that all they have to do is take a knee. No sense in risking a handoff like they did on that 1st down. I don't understand that one.
Radcliffe takes a knee. And Western Kentucky interim head coach Lance Guidry's team gambled and came up short.
Timeout. Western Kentucky,
timeout.
their final timeout of the half, 30 seconds.
Take a look at tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Capital One. It's the Central Michigan quarterback, the senior Ryan Radcliffe. 253 yards, 3 TDs, no picks tonight, Ray.
And to me, that's the ball game. That's the key to it right there. Ryan Radcliffe taking care of the football. When he is taking care of the football, the Chippewas have done really well. I mean, you go over the last 6 games for the Chippewas when they won 4 of them, and even you count this one, you give this W to them. They're 5-2, and he had only 3 interceptions over those 7 games. Makes all the difference in the world when your quarterback takes care of the football. I tell you, Jaleel Adai was all over the field too. But, you know, offensive players always win the awards.
Spoken like a true linebacker, Ray Bentley. A reminder, if you'd like to see exclusive coverage of the Little Caesars Bowl trophy ceremony, we'll have that for you on ESPN3 as soon as we wrap it up here. And Dan Enos gets the shower. His team wins it by 3 over Western Kentucky.
Nothing better than the Gatorade bath at the end of a big win.
Western Kentucky fails in an attempt to win their first bowl game as an FBS member. Finished the year at 7-6. Central Michigan finishes at 7-6. Nailed down on the field.
Coach, on that 4th and 2, Western Kentucky elected not to go to the field goal and to just go for it. How did you defend the play, and were you surprised they didn't just kick it for the tie?
No, when we saw them call their team over, we knew they were going to ask their team, and I knew what their team would want to do. They're going to try to win the game. And so we just played base defense, and everybody played their responsibilities, and we had guys in the right spot. It was good disciplined defense.
A clean game by your quarterback, Ryan Radcliffe. What do you think about his performance tonight?
He's been awesome for 3 years. He's been criticized a lot, but that's not because of him. It's because our team has struggled, and he's had a great year, and I was glad to see him have a great day in his last game. He's a great kid.
Now, your season had a lot of ups and downs. What does this mean win going forward?
Well, we won 4 in a row, 5 out of our last 6, and I'm proud of this group for persevering, and I think we're on our way up.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
4 wins in a row to end the season for Central Michigan. Once again, our final score, Central Michigan 24 and Western Kentucky 21. If you'd like live coverage of the trophy ceremony down on the field, log on to ESPN3. Coming up next on ESPN at Sports Center, big story tonight, the Heat win their 6th in a row and more That's going to take care of things from Ford Field in Detroit. Thanks for sharing with us the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl, where Central Michigan wins it by 3. To ESPN3 and the trophy ceremony from Ford Field in Detroit.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a great hand for this fabulous game played by both Central Michigan and Western Kentucky. Great seasons for both teams. We're here with the president of Little Caesars, David Scrivano. We're here with the former head coach from the University of Michigan, Lloyd Carr. Our chairman of the board, Dilip Dubey. And on behalf of the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl and our sponsors, Little Caesars, our presenting sponsors, the UAW, Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, all of our volunteers, we'd like to present this championship trophy to head coach Dan Enos of the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Great job, boy.
President Ross, would you like to say a few words to the faithful here?
To all the Chippewas out there, tonight you saw a group of young men compete and fight with a championship spirit and with character. Congratulations and fire up, Chips!
And now, two very special awards. First is the UAW Line Award, which goes to the top lineman or linebacker in the game. It goes to Central Michigan's Shamari Benton. Come on up here, Shamari. Shake Coach Carr's hand. And now, most valuable player in tonight's 16th annual Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, Central Michigan's Ryan Radcliffe. There you go, Coach.
It's you guys. It's you guys.
Okay, the last thing we want to do tonight is hear a few words from head coach Dan Enos.
Thanks, Ken. First off, I just want to thank Little Caesars for sponsoring this bowl and having this bowl in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. We really appreciate it, and thanks for having us. It was a first-class experience. It was a first-class bowl trip. Our players, our coaches, their families had an outstanding time, and we really appreciate all the hospitality. Second thing is, I just want to say to our players and coaches, you guys are unbelievable. What a great job. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't be prouder of a group. Won your last 4, 7-6, bowl champs, gonna get a ring. And did I say something about taking a week off of winter conditioning too? I don't remember that. 2 weeks. And I want to thank our fans for coming out today. I know the weather was bad, but fire up, Chips. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Fire up.
Congratulations to both teams. Thank you for braving the weather to be here tonight. You're great fans. Have a happy New Year. See you next year.
Western Kentucky, Central Michigan,
Thanks
and the
for
Little
watching
Caesars
the 2012 Little Caesars Bowl Trophy Ceremony on ESPN3.